Ever since the United States imposed sanctions on Huawei in 2019, the company's smartphones and other electronic products have been losing ground in international markets. After years of silence, Huawei is now actively planning a new global strategy. On February 18, Huawei launched the world's first tri-fold smartphone, the Mate X-T, in Malaysia. This event was one of the company's largest product launches abroad since the US sanctions were imposed on its international smartphone business. The Huawei Mate X-T Ultimate International version is priced at 3,500 euros, approximately 26,600 yuan, which is nearly 3,000 yuan higher than the domestic version with the same configuration, priced at 24,000 yuan. Although the hardware specifications are identical to the Chinese version, the international model does not run on Huawei's Harmony OS. Instead, it uses EMUI 14.2, an operating system based on the Android open-source project to better suit international users. However, EMUI 14.2 lacks Google services, which limits the app ecosystem and affects user experience. Ahmad, a Malaysian tech reviewer, found that the international version of the Mate X-T comes preloaded with only 42 apps, less than one-third of the Harmony OS version in China. He shared his experience on social media, saying, "I had to spend 3 hours installing compatibility plugins manually just to download my banking app. It's such a hassle." Many international consumers believe that the Mate X-T's international price of 3,500 euros is too high for what it offers. One user on Android Central commented, "I don't mind paying $2,800 for something that offers a unique experience, but for most people, this price is just outrageous. You could buy a phone, a tablet, and a laptop all together for less." The practicality of the trifold design has also been criticized. A user in the Forbes comment section wrote, "It looks cool when unfolded because it's so thin, but when folded, it's 12.8 millimeters thick. It feels like holding a brick, way too bulky." International media have shown little enthusiasm for the device, highlighting its struggle to gain widespread recognition. A journalist from France noted that Huawei's trifold phone has failed to attract interest and does not meet consumer needs. This perspective might be based on market observations and user preferences. From this viewpoint, the phone's innovations may not effectively address practical concerns for everyday use. For 6 months, Chinese state media heavily promoted Huawei's Mate X-T trifold smartphone, but how are its sales now? Officials have remained silent on the matter. On February 24th, the latest market research report showed that in 2024, China's foldable smartphone shipments reached 9.17 million units, with Huawei leading at 51% market share, followed by Honor, Vivo, Samsung, and Xiaomi. However, the overall foldable smartphone market declined by 9.6%. Even among foldable phones, Huawei's best-selling model was not its trifold Mate X-T, but the older, dual-fold Mate X5 from 2023, which sold about 2.6 million units. The second best-selling foldable phone, the Vivo X Fold 3, sold only 1/5 of that figure. The Mate X-T ranked 5th among foldable phones, with an estimated 280,000 units sold, about 1/10 of the Mate X5's sales. Huawei launched the world's first trifold smartphone, the Mate X-T, in September 2024. At its release, Chinese media hyped it as a groundbreaking innovation, with Huawei claiming 6 million pre-orders. However, 3 months later, actual sales fell below 1/20th of that number. The phone quickly faded from the spotlight as sales plummeted and interest sharply declined. Despite the massive buzz at launch, it ultimately did not translate into strong sales. In October 2024, Huawei Consumer Business CEO Richard Yu set a clear goal: to produce at least 1 million units before the 2025 Chinese New Year. Yu was optimistic about the market potential of this product. However, within Huawei, attitudes towards this ambitious target were more cautious. Huawei's team understood the high production costs of foldable smartphones and the limited market demand. There were concerns that if the price could not be maintained above 20,000 yuan, the company would face significant financial risks. At the same time, Inventory buildup was another major challenge. If market demand did not meet expectations, a large stockpile could put heavy pressure on the company's cash flow. According to reports from Chinese media in January, after nearly 5 years of sanctions and challenges, Huawei is planning a new global strategy covering 60 countries and regions. The global expansion of the Mate XT has attracted widespread attention. Since its launch event in Dubai last year, Huawei has placed large billboards in key locations worldwide and held another launch event in Malaysia, demonstrating its determination to regain ground in international markets. However, the lack of advanced chips and Google software has created a major obstacle to Huawei's global expansion. Currently, the company is focusing on emerging markets such as Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. These regions are more price sensitive and rely less on Google's ecosystem, making them potential entry points for Huawei's global strategy. Despite its eye-catching trifold design, the Mate XT may struggle to attract consumers if its chip performance does not match its high-end positioning. In developed markets such as Europe and North America, users have high expectations for hardware performance, and limitations in chip technology could weaken Huawei's appeal. The absence of Google software further compounds Huawei's challenges. Google Mobile Services is a key part of the Android ecosystem, providing access to essential apps such as Google Maps, YouTube, and the Play Store. These services are considered standard features for smartphones in international markets. Without access to GMS, Huawei has developed its own Huawei Mobile Services and uses an EMUI system based on the Android open-source project. However, the ecosystem lacks the same level of app availability and compatibility as Google's. Rebuilding a mature alternative in foreign markets would require long-term investment and high costs, making short-term success unlikely. Geopolitical uncertainty also casts a shadow over Huawei's global expansion. The company has strategically avoided the UK and US markets, likely to reduce geopolitical risks. The US and its allies have imposed restrictions on Huawei, not only through technology bans, but also by limiting market access. Some European countries have been cautious about purchasing Huawei equipment. This trust gap could indirectly influence consumer choices. Industry analysts note that the success of Huawei's Harmony OS and hardware innovations remains uncertain. The company's overseas expansion appears to be more about maintaining global brand presence, especially in markets that are more open to Chinese tech companies, rather than significantly increasing sales. As early as 2023, Huawei had already signaled its intent to return to overseas markets. In May 2023, the company held launch events in Munich, Dubai, Kuala Lumpur, and Mexico City to introduce products such as the P60 series, marking the restart of its international business. However, Huawei's global comeback at the time was relatively low profile with mixed results. Reports indicate that in 2023, overseas sales accounted for only about 10% of Huawei's total smartphone sales. In recent years, Huawei's smartphone business has faced ups and downs on the global stage. Since the United States imposed sanctions in 2019, Huawei's international market share has declined sharply. According to data from the International Data Corporation, the company's share of the smartphone market outside of China is now just 0.3%. As Huawei moves to re-enter global markets, Wang Xiaowen, an assistant researcher at Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research, believes this effort is largely symbolic. She explained that Huawei aims to show that it has made a full recovery and was not defeated by U.S. sanctions. Huawei is not just a commercial enterprise focused on profits and losses. It represents the Chinese Communist Party's push for technological self-sufficiency. It cannot afford to concede on the international stage. She noted that Huawei understands it cannot regain a foothold in North America or Europe for now. Instead, it is targeting wealthy and elite consumers in Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Malaysia was chosen for the launch due to its strong ties with China, its large Chinese community, a significant number of affluent consumers, and its strategic position along the Belt and Road Initiative. Silicon Valley engineer Zongshan stated that Huawei's decision to launch in Southeast Asia instead of Western markets reflects a cautious strategy to avoid sanctions, reduce risks, and test the waters for a global comeback. He explained that market entry barriers and political pressure in the US and Europe are significant. In contrast, Southeast Asia has fewer restrictions and a more favorable business environment with international Chinese communities that actively promote Huawei's products. Meanwhile, the Middle East, home to many high net worth individuals, serves as a testing ground for luxury technology products. Zongshan also pointed out that for users accustomed to Apple or Microsoft operating systems, Huawei's Harmony OS may feel unfamiliar. He noted that watching videos on the large screen could be challenging, as Netflix is not supported, making it harder for international consumers to adopt the device. He added that Huawei has yet to resolve its ecosystem issues, comparing it to a swamp where smaller software developers play a crucial role in building diversity. However, Huawei has been reluctant to collaborate with smaller firms, which could hinder ecosystem growth. Overall, while the Mate X-T has been well received in China, its expansion is facing challenges due to conflicts between its market strategy and external conditions. Zongshan believes that Huawei's long-term success remains uncertain, given ongoing issues with the global supply chain, chip availability, and software ecosystem limitations. Since its launch, Huawei's trifold smartphone has been plagued by quality issues. On the second-hand platform Goofish, heavily discounted Mate X-T phones have been listed for sale, with defects such as screen leaks, bright lines, screen adhesive failures, and unresponsive touch areas. Many users on social media platforms like Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, and Xiaohongshu have complained about the Mate X-T's poor quality. The Huawei trifold phone, no matter how you fold it, it's going to break. Don't even think about whether to buy it or not. Just look at the screen. It broke just after 1 month. Replacing the screen costs thousands. Honestly, this thing is better suited as a lid for an instant noodle cup. Guys, the Mate X-T launched at over 20,000 yuan and was resold for as high as 100,000. And now it's falling apart. Look at this. The left screen just keeps flickering. I'm done with this trifold. If I ever use it again, I'd be a fool. Why don't I use a trifold anymore? Because this is a position I have to hold it in at all times. No reviewer has shown it like this before, right? This is how you actually use a phone. Otherwise, you can't get a good grip, and your range of movement is limited. Most of the time, I hold my phone like this, and it makes my pinky really tired. It's exhausting. Sure, it looks flashy when you show it off, but using it for a while gets tiring. Honestly, I really like the Mate 60. Look, the Mate 60 fits perfectly in your hand. This is how most people hold their phones. Some people ask, if you're buying a trifold, why only use one screen? Let me tell you, 90% of the time, I only use this part of the screen. When I'm with family or want to show off in front of friends, then I'll open it up to full screen. If I'm on a flight or something, I might use a full screen to watch a movie. The resolution is actually good enough. The dual fold design is way more comfortable. When I use it, I hold it along this fold line. But the problem is, it's really heavy. After using it for a while, I just don't feel like using it anymore. You need both hands to play games. It's fine for short bursts, but for daily use, like texting or chatting with friends, I mostly use this part of the screen, about 90% of the time. The other 10% is for occasional full screen use, maybe 5% at most. This is a Huawei Mate X-T from China. When my friend was buying it, I told him not to get this model. The trifold screen has a fatal flaw. This part here sticks out. If it gets bumped or pulled, this is the first place that's going to break. He didn't believe me. He said, I don't care, I have money. I told him, all right, if you have money, go ahead and buy it. And look at it now. He dropped it once, and the screen started leaking. Now he has no choice but to get it replaced. A screen replacement costs around 5,000 to 6,000 yuan. I warned him, why not just get an X6? It's so much better. The screen is protected inside, so it's much less likely to break. But with a trifold, the screen is always exposed, making it much more fragile. When buying a phone, You have to think about durability and practicality, not just looks. Some users have reported that Huawei's trifold smartphone experienced screen damage within the first week of use. Videos posted on social media show screen leaks with complaints that Huawei's after-sales service refused to cover repairs under warranty. On February 23rd, a user on Xiaohongshu shared a video claiming that the Mate X-T broke out of nowhere after just 2 weeks. The user said the phone had never been dropped, hit, or exposed to water, and was even placed on the bed while showering to avoid steam. Despite handling it with extreme care, the screen still malfunctioned for no apparent reason. The user questioned Huawei's quality control and mocked its claim of being far ahead of competitors. Most users believe the trifold screen is too fragile, prone to screen leaks and bright lines, even with slight pressure. The phone is mainly used in its folded mode, with few scenarios where the full screen is needed. However, even when used as a regular smartphone, it has drawbacks. The flexible screen does not feel as flat as a standard phone display, affecting touch response. Charging also requires unfolding the screen completely, otherwise, a persistent message appears instructing the user to unfold it, raising concerns about potential screen burn-in. The phone is also heavy, yet its battery life is poor, with a capacity of just 4,500 mAh. Another issue is the hinge crease, which remains unresolved. The high cost of repairs has also deterred potential buyers. Industry sources say repairing the Mate X-T's inner screen costs 8,000 yuan, with only one discounted screen replacement available in the first year for 4,000 yuan. A recent development in the tech industry has surprised digital enthusiasts. Reports indicate that Honor, the second largest foldable phone maker, has announced a pause in its trifold smartphone development. This adds further uncertainty to an already volatile foldable phone market. Honor CEO Zhao Ming revealed that in 2025, the company will continue updating its horizontal and vertical foldable models, but will not release a trifold device. This decision reflects a cautious approach among manufacturers towards the foldable phone market. After an initial period of rapid growth, China's foldable smartphone market is now slowing down. Zhao Ming previously stated that foldable phones must address durability and product value to sustain demand. Cost remains a key challenge, especially in an increasingly competitive market. In today's fast-changing tech industry, smartphone designs and features continue to evolve, but not every innovation makes a lasting impact. Ross Young, CEO of Display Supply Chain Consultancy, DSCC, also pointed out that durability and cost are major factors affecting the growth of the foldable phone market. The high price of Huawei's trifold smartphone has deterred most consumers. With a starting price of 20,000 yuan, it primarily targets affluent tech enthusiasts and high-end business users. Even among those who pursue cutting-edge technology, many are questioning whether a 20,000 yuan phone is truly worth the investment. Production constraints have also limited its availability. The trifold design requires highly advanced manufacturing techniques, leading to increased production difficulties and a higher defect rate. As a result, the Mate X-T's reputation as a luxury device has not gained widespread acceptance. Its unclear market positioning has made it seem caught between categories.